All right, this is Unit 5, Lesson 2. This video is going to cover questions 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so this one's asking you about cross-sections for a cone. Imagine an upright cone with its base resting on your horizontal desk. Sketch the cross-section formed by intersecting each plane with the cone. So number 2 says a vertical plane not passing through the cone's topmost point. Number 3 is a horizontal plane, and then number 4 is the diagonal plane. Okay, so to answer this question, it's helpful to me if I can visualize what's happening. So if I start out with a cone, okay, you can see we've got the yellow cone here. The first question asked about a cross-section that was vertical. So we have our plane, make that kind of a blue color, and it is cutting through our cone vertically. Make my shape a little bit more transparent so we can kind of see what's going on. There we go. Okay, so if it cuts through vertically, or sometimes they call that perpendicular to the base, right, because it's a 90-degree angle with the bottom of the cone. If it goes through the top point of the cone, right, hopefully you can kind of see there that that's going to be a triangle. But question number 2 said not passing through the cone's topmost point. So if I can maybe move my plane, okay, so if I can move my plane, there we go. Okay, so here's a good example. As we move the plane, right, see it's still vertical, it's still perpendicular to that base of the cone, but you can see it's not exactly a triangle anymore. Instead, it gives us that parabolic shape, right? It looks more like a parabola. It's that upside down U shape. And as I continue to move it, right, you can see as we get closer and closer to the edges of the cone, we start to see more of that U shape kind of flattening out until we get to the very edge there. Okay, so you can see as we get closer up to the top, when it's a vertical cross section, it's a triangle, but as it moves towards the edges of our cone, it turns more into that parabola, that U shape. Okay, so on question number 2, you need to sketch the parabola shape. You want to sketch that U shape that's happening there, right? So this U shape is what you want to be sketching. Okay. On number 3, it asked us about a horizontal cross section. So sometimes you hear that called parallel to the base. All right, so if I change it to a horizontal cross section, see it's parallel to the base. Well, the base was a circle, right? And so it makes sense that a horizontal cross section is also going to be a circle. Now, notice it's a smaller circle than the original base was. But if I change, let's see if I can change the height at which I'm looking at it, right? As I get down to the base, now it's the same size circle as the base. As I move up towards the top of the cone, our circle is just shrinking, right? So we have that circle being dilated between a scale factor of 1, right? 1 being the original base, all the way down to a scale factor of 0 when we get to the very tip of that cone. Okay. All right, so on question number 3, where it asks about the horizontal cross section, you need to be drawing a circle, or as close as you can get to a circle. Okay, well then the next one, number 4, asked us about a diagonal plane. So there's actually a couple of different correct answers that you can put for this one. Let me see if I can get a diagonal plane going. So diagonal is going to be somewhere between horizontal and vertical. Okay, there's a pretty good one. So you can see it's not exactly a circle anymore. Now we have kind of that elongated circle, and so we would call that an ellipse, or in other words, an oval. So this is one possible solution on that one. You could sketch an ellipse or an oval. Let's see if I can adjust the height of it. So you can see as we change the height of it, it's still just an oval, still just that ellipse shape. If it's diagonal and it cuts through the base, though, notice we're almost back to that parabola, that parabolic, that upside down U shape that we saw happening in the first problem when it was a vertical cross section. Okay, so either one of those answers would work on question number 4, where it asks you about a diagonal cross section.